So give me a bit of an update. It's been a while, so what do I need to know heading into this about your journey and where you're at?
So, I would say I took a break for like a month, and then the past like week or two, I've been playing again.
Okay.
And I feel like since I started playing again, I've been focusing on like a lot more like accountability with my games and like my performance.
Okay.
And I've also but like something else that I've also noticed is that my uh I think my mid to late game has got like the way that I play that has gotten a lot better, but I feel like my laning phase I've recently had a lot less impact to the point where I could say it's almost I have like no impact laning phases
Right.
sometimes.
Okay.
And I'm not sure like why exactly that is. I don't feel like I'm playing any different than I normally do, but it just feels like I'm not contributing anything like the first like 10 to 12 minutes of the game a lot of the time.
Okay. And was this a problem that you were experiencing before your break, or was it kind of new based off your break?
Um I mean, I think obviously there were games that had no impact, but I didn't think, but like it never felt like as consistent as a thing as this.
So you
It's
think
like
there's maybe
it's
something
like
that's gone backwards in that period of time, maybe?
maybe yeah, it's like some maybe if I'll get like a solo kill or two, but it's like maybe I won't translate that at all,
Hmm.
or even if even then if I just try and sit and play for farm, I'll just hold a freeze for a bit. Even if I get a CS lead, it feels like I can't translate it. And then there's games where I get behind and like I again like I just keep spiraling further and further out of control.
Okay.
And it just feels like I've been like like basically like an anchor on a lot of the games I've been playing recently.
Interesting. Okay. And this is a good example of that, you think?
I would think so, yeah.
Okay. Let's take a look. I'm
Like,
interested to see how this manifests. And he's actually a pretty easy matchup for you, especially with Ghost, right? It's pretty limited
yeah,
kill threat.
that's
And Graves Jungle. Graves Jungle also is pretty useless into Yasuo. So what was your hypothesis here in this lane? How did you want to play this one?
um I was thinking again I could just let it shove into me, but uh like I guess I just shoved it out, but because Annie came in a bit late. But yeah, right now I was trying to do what I normally do. I let it shove into me and I try and go for some trades level 2 or 3.
Yep, lovely. I like it. So they went for a little bit of like a weird vertical late invade, whatever. And he comes in a bit late. It's go time level 2. Take a very nice trade. Now this is an interesting one because you don't. The problem with this trade is that it fucks the wave, doesn't it? I actually don't like how you do that. See how you go for the EQ combo and then it actually AoEs? I think you
Yeah.
just E, hold, and then just do a normal Q. Because I
I
think.
think that's a little problem that I've had before that I think I still haven't really fixed.
Right. Because that to me looks like, yes, sure, it's a great trading window. I think even if you were to E this, I think it would still shove in back to you
Yeah.
if you didn't AoE it and you just got for the single target Q. So I think that's
And
actually
now
a
this
little bit
isn't
of.
gonna shove.
Yes, it's going to shove out towards the ante now, which, sure, you get the good trade, but you're missing the kill window. You remember, it's like weighing up short term versus long term.
Yeah.
Sometimes I even think it's worth if you thought that level 2 trade was actually going to fuck the wave. Sometimes I even think it's worth not even going for that trade. Sometimes.
I think
Okay.
that's just something I have to be more mindful about like while I'm playing.
And we missed the cannon as well.
Yeah, I was not happy.
Mm. And like, there's no point to queue this, right? Like, just auto it. Take a little bit of damage. Who gives a shit? Because you're AoEing again. You're hitting the melee there. And
Yeah.
notice how as well, like, that caster, it's actually not even getting targeted.
So if I just leave it, it stays up for a bit and
Yeah,
it
it's
can
literally
it'll
not even.
continue pushing in.
Exactly. It was getting targeted by that melee there. And then I think maybe this caster, but I think when this died, I'm pretty sure that caster actually changed targets. It started hitting that one for whatever reason. So it's literally not even getting targeted. 'Cause. Targeted. 'Cause. 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 ' More AoE and Qs. And you're just not letting the wave come out, dude. Okay, so Annie is pretty stupid and ends up AoEing it. So now the wave is definitely going to come out. And now finally we've got a good wave stay. But honestly, you lucked out. You actually lucked out. So then she wastes that... she wastes the stun on the minion. And this is go time. This is what we really want to do. Even if Graves were to come by, it won't do jack shit. Because you've got your win wall. Okay, that's fine. Good. Good patience. Good. Very nice. Can maintain the freeze. We deny Annie a lot of farm. Very nice. And if she shows, we go. Honestly, I think you go there and make a choice between you and the cannon there. I think you should go here. Even if she stuns you, it doesn't matter. Then she misses the cannon.
True.
But now we should definitely go. There's a Minuet behind her as well. You're playing so defensive, dude. What's going on here? Is it you're scared of Graves or...
I think it was probably just a thing where it was like, I have no idea where Graves is on the map. I don't want to just like E in and die.
Do you honestly think you can die? I think you're so hard to kill with your win wall. And remember, if Graves comes and he shows and you win wall and then that's it. I mean, that's amazing for your team, isn't it?
Yeah, because...
And I think just because you...
Then he just comes mid and he doesn't get anything and...
Yeah,
there he is.
And it's huge and then you just help the sides. The thing is as well, is that like, there's... If you were to actually trade aggressively here, you probably could have actually lent to one side and probably got a ward out anyway. Like, let's say you traded down the long lane here and then he didn't show you. You could actually just walk up over here, get a ward, and then kind of come back, and then you've got that vision on one side. But again, I don't think you need to be afraid of Graves. Like, I think you're over-respecting Graves massively. And as a result, because you didn't thin the wave and you've been playing really defensive, we forced to use the win wall on the casters. Yeah, and we've just played ultra defensive, and it's just been a farm fest. It looks like, in a way, you're walking the tightrope way too much to the defensive side. That's what it looks like to me. All right, so now we've got our Berserker Greaves. We're in a good spot here, still, even despite everything that's happened. Your first recall comparative to this is much better, isn't it? Right? Like,
yeah.
Berserker Greaves versus like an Am2 Tier 1 Boots. You're way stronger. What was your thought process here?
I think I wanted to just continue holding this, and I saw Annie go bot, and I thought if I just hold this race here, she'll just lose a lot of CS, and that's what I did.
So what pings should we do if Annie's moving down?
I ping this thing, and then I probably should also ping danger like on them too.
What do I always say, time and time and time again?
The ping the river.
I say, yeah, the danger. I say this every review. It's honestly, it's becoming a meme at this point. Like these pings. I actually have an article on this I wrote recently as well, like how to actually communicate in solo queue. These pings are fucking useless. They're absolutely useless. This doesn't give your team any information. They're not even going to hear it, first of all. And even if they say that, what does that mean? Does it mean she's going top? Does it mean she's resetting? Does it mean she's going bot? We have no idea. So you could have 110% prevented that bot roam. That was completely on you.
Right. I also did we know like where she was going? Like did we see her go into bot side? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
So you're totally right. I definitely could have just been down there over there.
And plus, even if we didn't, I would bet any amount of money that she's going to go bot anyway.
Yeah, because Echo's topside and bot's fully shoved out.
Yep. And they're very volatile. They're very... And the Ezreal's winning. So, yeah. Okay, so we end up freezing. Graves comes by. We end up making a little play. Well done. Hmm. Okay. Annie now has no mana and no ult, so she's not really that threatening towards us right now. There's Graves, lovely, good ward. We can pretty easily get this wave out, easy. Great stuff. Okay, so we see that top is doing an okay job, but that's always going to kind of turn around with Vayne into Ornn. That's always going to get rough. Bot struggling. Okay. We come back. We could have easily frozen this if we really wanted to, but you don't have to. You can also shove and take the enemy raptors or something like that. I think Graves might actually be on the Rift, so you might even be able to go the Rift right now. Fuck with the Graves, purely because Annie would be based. So see that? Do you see how obvious it is that he's going to Rift? And what do we know here? Annie has no TP and literally just overstated base. You did a really great reset. So you have so many options here. Right? Number 1, shove, fuck with Graves on the Rift. Number 2, shove and deny camps. Number 3, freeze. You can do a trillion things right now. But then what
I think what I did, I think here like I shoved to get the plating and then I rotated onto Rift, and I think because I got the plating instead of immediately just going, like one, he got the Rift, and then two, because I got there so late, it gave people a lot more time to actually show up, and then I think I actually ended up getting caught.
I don't think your intention at all was the Rift, dude. I think you had no idea.
Well, originally I was walking up because I just like didn't want to stay there, and then like I wasn't like rotating into the jungle. I originally wanted to go top lane, yeah.
Yeah, I think you just stumbled across the Rift. Like you're literally walking past him and panning your camera top. You had no idea. So I think like the original intention was to roam top, which is okay. But yeah, I think obviously the Rift is the obvious one.
I just waited too long on the Nito. Like this was just my fault. I should have just thrown it earlier and then ulted because I saw Annie was coming up, but I wanted to get out, and then I just got caught and died.
I actually think you could have just walked out topside if you wanted anyway. Vayne was really low.
Yeah,
right?
Right too.
Like Vayne based. You could have just walked down topside.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Yeah. And here as well, you already know she's going to start with R, so what should you do?
Just win wall.
Just win wall straight away, because then Graves can't follow up immediately. So you could have bought more time there, and you would have taken less damage. And I think you might have even been able to win this 2v2 if you cut it around. Because Ornn might have been able to get a knock up. If you survived a bit longer, you would have got your ult off. So it would have been close. And Lulu's nearly here. So there's a lot of optimizations there. Okay, so fast forward a little bit. I'm starting to get a gauge of what's going on here. Dad, do you remember what your mindset was here? What you were thinking?
Honestly, no clue. But
Okay.
now I would assume that just because Dragon's coming up, we rotate towards it, and then we just get it.
Yeah, the strength of your comp is definitely team fighting with the Ornn. That's for sure. So correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not 100% sure, by the way, how the Yasuo ult works. So you have to, like, correct me on this one. But can you choose what side of the character you ult on?
Sometimes I feel like you can. Sometimes I feel like you can't. Like because, like I don't know. I've always like been told that it's on like you ult on the same side that you like your cursor's on. But then there'll be times like where like I'll go for a tower dive or something, and I'll like keep my cursor away from tower, and it just puts me under tower, and then I just like take tower shots and die. So like, I don't know, honestly. I'm under the assumption that you can, but again, I have no clue. I would assume though, because I think my cursor's like below her here. Honestly, it was more towards the other side that I was on.
Well, because look, it's
So
here.
that's after I ult, because it
Oh,
moved
that's
my
after.
camera a lot. Like before the ult, I'm pretty sure it was on
True, your
yeah.
cursor's here.
Yeah,
That's
so
weird.
like honestly, I have no idea. I was keeping
Hmm.
it on that side, and then it just put me there.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, I don't know. Right, you're the Yasuo one trick, so I don't know. Okay, so all I'm saying though, if you had a choice, it would have been good though, because then you could have ulted on the other side of the wind wall, right? And then you would have been able to prevent yourself from getting killed by the Ezreal there. But
Yeah.
look, I don't mind this fight. I don't mind it because again, my only criticism, and I think that you're maybe not using your wind wall soon enough, but ultimately it was not too bad. Looks like Ornn just missed the knock-up, so you couldn't follow up with your ult. So, not too bad. Not terrible. Actually, looking at it again, Twitch wasn't even here. That actually makes no sense. I thought Twitch was there. I didn't even see Twitch base. So looking at it again, it's actually probably not even worth it.
Yeah, we just leave. I didn't see him base either, so that's
Yeah.
probably why we went for it.
Yeah. Because I think if Twitch were here, then this might have been okay. But Twitch actually base, so... Okay. We definitely could have called that one off. Okay. Echo is getting quite strong. Okay. Looks like here we weren't leaning to the correct side. We have vision on bot side, but for some reason we're leaning on the wrong side. So we have to burn flash. Looks like a little bit of a 2v2. Okay, we get the Graze flash. Nice.
As we're like getting like a bit later into the VOD too, my CS numbers like fell off really hard, and I was also like hoping, like just like you could just like let me know like when like I'm just kind of doing like something just not impactful, and like when and where I should maybe go to like maybe continue getting like CS and stuff.
This is a questionable play here. This is not your win condition here.
Yeah. Something that was also really into is I saw that they were for top, and then I just kind of went in anyway.
This is a pretty game-losing play here, to be honest with you. Look at your team, man. Already all the way back here? Who's your secondary win con?
That's Echo and Twitch.
Yeah, Echo and Twitch. They're your other secondary win cons. Mainly just the Echo, though, right? At this stage. But yeah, Twitch Lulu is obviously going to scale really nicely. At this stage, Echo goes bot. They get bot tower. Graves obviously decides to trade sides of the map, which is, what he's going to do. Who gives a shit? It's an Ornn. It doesn't matter. Here, you should actually, in reality, what I would do here is I would actually run bot, completely trade this off, give Rift, and play for bot dive. Because playing side with you and Echo, no one can beat you guys.
That makes sense.
Remember, your identity. You want to get into the side. That's your big strength versus the Annie. Okay.
So it was bad because one, it just wasn't a win con, and two, like I saw them all there anyway, and then it took benefit of the play anyway.
Yep. And it's not even in accordance to your win con. Your champ's identity. Okay, so we'll move on. Dragon's about to come up. Does one have TP here? One does have TP here. I think you guys can fight this. I don't think you need to, though, because Twitch Lulu doesn't have ult. I would actually prefer just to give this. I would just give drag. You need Twitch Lulu ult would be nice. I think just give. Who gives a shit? It's only their second dragon anyway. Nice. That's huge. Surprised you don't win wall here to peel your Twitch. You just let him get mowed down, dude. Alright. Yeah, I mean, I'm just not even a fan in general. I think you should have made the call to give. Alright. So, I'm already starting to see some obvious trends here, man. Okay. We'll continue on because you wanted to take a look at your CS, but I kind of already know I'll take a look for the sake of that. But I think it's already obvious why you're missing so much farm, right? You're dying, you went top and died and missed farm, didn't get a side lane, then you didn't commit to the side lane there, lost farm again. You're just dying and compensating. That's what seems to be the case here. And at this stage, were you actively aware of WinCon or were you more playing in autopilot?
I think I wanted to play like I kept. I think a lot of it was like I knew like what the WinCon was, but it was like almost as if I wasn't like aware of it, even though I was. If that makes sense. It's like I don't know if I'd call it autopilot, but it definitely wasn't like actively playing around like the Echo and stuff.
Well, you didn't know how to play around the WinCon.
I guess how, yeah. I guess that would be how. I guess that would be it.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, I've already said enough. So, I'm going to kind of compartmentalize the issues that I've seen in this VOD. Okay, I think the first one being number one, I think you're playing overly defensive, maybe because you're coming off the back of a break and you're scared or whatever it might be. You know, Yasuo can't afford to play like that. You know, I think it's good that you're valuing your own life, and I think it's very important that you're not playing like a psycho and just dying and trading kills and dying to level 3 ganks. I totally understand that. But you're versing an Annie with Ghost. You're versing a Graves. I think you had more than enough safety with your win wall to kind of do whatever you wanted. So what did we see in the early lane, right? We saw, number one, not pulling waves and creating long lane states. We saw number two, being overly defensive. And we also saw some very poor quality pings. I want to group this all together, okay? And I'm going to call this dominating your opponent. I think you've lost the dominating your opponent mindset. Every single decision you make, right, in League, always needs to be, how do I make my enemy's life as miserable as possible? Now, this is a scale. This is obviously on a scale. If you're playing Victor, the way you do this is going to be very, very different to the way you do this as Yasuo. It's going to be very different to the way you do that with Seraphine mid. Every single champion has their limitations because it depends on the champion's strengths and weaknesses and the matchup, of course. It almost felt as though you were only thinking like very, very short term about like what you wanted now. You weren't thinking about what do I need to do to make this Annie's life miserable in the long run. Therefore, that's why, in my opinion, you weren't pulling waves. That's why, I mean, you weren't really capitalizing on Annie's weak early game. And you were also not really pinging out her roams, right? If you understand what Annie wants to do and what she was doing and the wave state, of course she's going to roam. That's her only way out of that situation. So this is a mindset. I don't even want to group I don't even want to make individual learning objectives for it. This is a fucking mindset, dude. You're playing Yasuo. You're strong in the early game. You spike early. You spike early on Berserkeries, but you're even really strong pre-first base as well. Dominate your... You see what I'm getting at?
Yeah. because there were a lot of opportunities where I could have just done stuff that I just kind of sat there and just
Yeah.
held a freeze for no reason.
It's a
Where
mindset, man.
I wouldn't even have had to broken the freeze. I just kind of just sat there and didn't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. I'll say the second thing. To me, it looks like you weren't really absolutely obsessed about the win condition. And I think this ties into the third one, which is your lull state. It felt like these two things tie in together in a way that it's like you're a victim of the game. You were just going with the flow. It's like whatever happens, happens. And I'm just going to adapt to every single thing that happens. But I wouldn't even call this adaptation. I would call this compensation more than anything. And what I mean by this is like when I'm watching you play, it's like there's no reference point. So what I mean by that is like okay, so you know how I spoke about that play where bot got bot tower, right? They Echo hovered bot and they traded sides of the map and we got bot tower. And there was a key pivotal decision in that game, right? Where you could either call for Rift and play for that Rift and play for the team fight, or you can trade sides of the map, tell Twitch to go mid, leave Ornn to catch waves at tier 2, and then UK bot and call hover from Echo, right? I'll say they're the two obvious plays that you can make. What you did was a one where it didn't make any sense. It wasn't in coherence with a win condition. And it's not even really obvious that you want this. It's not even good for you as an individual. So it almost feels like you're playing League to make other people happy. Like to make other people... You're not even making your teammates' life easier. It's kind of... You're just playing and saying yes to whatever appears in front of your face. And the problem with this is that it's very hard to improve at the game when you play like this. Because you're going to exit this game, go to each and every one of these situations, and be like, oh, I didn't really want this. Oh, yeah, this is obviously pretty bad. You know, it's like, you can't actually take responsibility for any of these decisions because you didn't really make them. You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like, you're just full autopilot. So, I don't think autopilot's the right word. You're just full...
just like confused, I think is the
yeah,
way to put it.
yeah. And the way to cut through the confusion is to make... Yeah, like Jason said, he's yes-manning. Yeah, and just make a decision. I don't give a shit how bad it is. And that has to be your mindset, man. And so I think moving forward, what I want from you is I want three things. I want you to man up and have the dominating mindset and have a go at that. It doesn't mean you play crazy and go for level 2 all-ins every single game, but it means that you need to think in the loading screen, starting from the loading screen. How do I make this guy as miserable as possible without dying to ganks? Right? And that's going to differ depending on the jungle matchup, what you're paired with, what the matchup is, etc. You'll also need to use the lull stage to think about what you want as an individual and how this directly ties into the win condition. How are you going to win the game? And obviously here, you're going to have to think about the next objective because you can't think about the win condition without the next objective. And this should hopefully lead into you making more active calls and having the commander mindset. Now, none of these calls need to be super sophisticated. And none of the plays even need to be super sophisticated. All I want to see is that you're playing with intention. Playing with intention. As much intention as you possibly can. Then, once you've done that, then we can start to break down, okay, what is it that you simply don't understand about the game? Because right now, it's really overwhelming. I don't know what you do and don't understand about the game.
Yeah, I guess, I think, the main things I probably should look at then is like during VOD reviews, I should just look at, like during like the lane phase, like I guess missed opportunities and, like more specifically stuff like that, so I don't kind of fall back into that,
No, I think a
just,
more
like...
pragmatic way to answer that, to ask that question is was I aware of my role in this game and was I aware of what I wanted? What did I want? You know, League is a constant seesaw, right? I imagine League as a constant seesaw between what you want and what your team wants. That's what League is. League's a constant seesaw. And we can't make decisions, right, if we don't know what we want. Because what's going to happen? You're always going to do what your team wants. It's just a one-sided seesaw. So in your VOD review, the question is either there's two problems, right? The problem is either I know what I want and I knew what I wanted, but it didn't work and I was wrong, or I misexecuted, and that's fine, dude. That's fine. You can learn a lot from that. Or I actually had no idea. And now in hindsight, from what I see, what should I have probably done and why?
So in the reviews, I just look for I guess where my win condition lies, combined with what I with what is the best thing for me personally.
Spot on.
Okay.
That's what League is in a nutshell.
I guess this would be a good review for what I was saying earlier, why I felt like it had no impact. I guess it would be because I literally just had no idea
That's right.
what I wanted to be doing during these games.
What you just said there is exactly how this manifests. You will actually have no impact when you don't know what you want. Because just really think about it, right? I want to give you a real life situation that really exemplifies this, to really sink it in here, okay? Let's say you're in a friendship group, and I'm sure we've all had this before, right? In school, or maybe in university, or just your friends in a group now, right? Let's say you have a group of 4 guys, right? And you're 4 friends from school, whatever. Generally, right, you get the more dominant guys in the group that are more vocal, extroverted, whatever. And they dictate what happens in the group. Like where you go out, what you want to do, who you're going to hang out with, whatever. Then you have the other people in the group that are passive, right? Now, you know why these guys are passive a lot of the time? It's because a lot of the time they don't even know what they want. They actually either they're not clear on their identity of who they are, or they just don't make decisions, right? So if someone were to say objectively and observe this group of 4 people, who has the most impact on the group? These people.
Probably the ones that are vocal.
Right, spot on. These guys have they're low impact on the group. Now, life's not a competition, right? So it's not a big deal, right? So it doesn't fucking matter. Maybe the guy doesn't give a fuck. But we're playing a competition. There's a goal. There's an objective. There's a nexus that needs to be exploded. So you got to have your say.
Yeah, that does make sense.
I want to give you an example of how this can be taken to the extreme. So I played a game recently that I was really angry with myself. That shows how I'm really trying to take responsibility and go above and beyond right now, right? So one of my learning objectives right now is that commander mindset, as well as be hyper aware of the win condition at every single point in time, right? So what happens is I put all my resources bot as an Ari. So fast forward. Make this full screen. I put all my resources bot because I thought my Sivir Lulu was going to get a win condition. So I went bot, kill bot, I came back mid, I get my ult, I go bot again, kill bot again, get my Sivir kill. I'm thinking, great. I wanted my win condition to be my Sivir Lulu, and that's what I wanted. But they died, whatever, they fuck up, whatever, right? Now, they die again, I think, here to Italia ult. That's out of my control. Rift comes up. I base, Rift comes up. Rift is obviously a very big objective. They get Dragon. Now, I didn't know whether they were going to cross-map onto topside to defend the Rift, given Renekton has Prio, or they were going to try and split the trade sides of the map and go bot. My plan in the moment was, let's just get Rift, and then we could use a bot, and then siege bot, and then get the Sivir and Lulu snowballing. What happens, though, is that they don't come to the Rift. They actually go bot, and they kill my bot lane. And now we're forced to play topside, right? Now, in the review, a lot of people would say, oh, they'll be that's fine, right? That's You know, you got to kill top, you got the rift, whatever. This is not fine. Why is this not fine?
It wasn't in accordance with your game plan or win condition.
That's right. That's right. So we get this kill, but these kills are low value because it's not going to allow us to win the game. So then what happens if we fast forward? They rift top, they get the top tower, whatever. But Camille doesn't do good into Renekton. So what happens? The game goes on, I keep offering top, but then Camille gets solo kill. So now we're really fucked, aren't we? Because now my bot lane's died. We've traded sides of the map. We left our bot lane to die, and then now top lane's died. We got no win con anymore. So what my learning was in this game, in the review, I remember I went over it this morning, was, okay, if this situation, given that it's not obvious that they're going to trade, like they're going to go topside, I should ping danger bot to give them the heads up that we're on, so they don't die. Like danger, that Talia could be bot here. So then they respect, they don't die, we get rift, that gives Nid time to reset, go bot, and we siege bot, and we can play through bot. That's the commander mindset right there.
Yeah, that does make sense. Because... Well, I don't really know how to... I don't know why I said because. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
It just makes sense, right? It's just like, I have a theory. I put all my eggs in one basket. Notice how I'm playing with intention, though. See how I'm always thinking. Like, I have a reason that I'm making each and every one of my plays. That's the goal. That's the goal that we all need to strive towards.
I think, I think I'm definitely going to focus more on like my win con and like how I can play around it. I don't really know if I'll be able to like every single moment. Like I don't know if my brain can work that fast.
That's a long term, you know, that you can challenge it by then.
Yeah.
As long as you're doing it at least for like the pivotal moments, you know, that's the goal. It's like we're starting by at least, if you're using your lull states at a minimum, right? Like the goal being every moment in the game is made with intention. But we're starting with, even if it could be like 50%, yeah, that's fine. But honestly, I would say 90% of this game was actually played in with no intention.
I agree with that. And that's why it feels like I'm just having no impact because
exactly.
it's like I'm not playing for anything.
Yep. Spot on.
Okay.
Does that all make sense?
I think that's probably, yeah, it does. I think that's probably the biggest issue I've been having recently then.